Welcome back to Faceovermatter. So today we will be doing a Q&A. So as always, how these Q&As go, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard it 1,000 times already. I've told you guys to ask me some questions on my Instagram. So if you do not follow me already on Instagram, go ahead and do so. I will leave it here or somewhere, y'all. My lights on. Got my handy dandy phone right here. I didn't even ask if you wanted to be mentioned, so I'm just going to block out the name. As your relationship strengthened with Christ, did a lot of your relationships change? And I think that is such a golden question and it's just gonna set the tone for the rest of this Q&A. And the answer is yes. And I mean in a major way. Simply because with me growing in Christ, our identity lies in Christ Jesus, right? So with me finding who I was in Christ and walking that out, I noticed that a lot of the things that I used to be connected to, or a lot of things that I used to dabble into, or just people that I would let in my space, I noticed that would start to change. Things would start to get irritating. I just wouldn't be interested in those things anymore. It gradually happened over time, obviously. So as it strengthened with Christ, yes, a lot of my relationships did change. Whether I was just in a full-blown relationship or, just friendship. I think it was a really good thing because now going forward, I'm seeing who I should be connected to as I continue my walk with Christ, as I continue to grow and continue to strengthen myself in Him. I think it's very important that now I'm seeing who I need to be connected to and who I do not need to be connected to. And I can look forward to being connected to new people that will be a part of my new journey and so forth. Short and sweet, to the point, yes, it changed in a major way. And I will leave a piece of advice. If you are questioning some of your friendships, relationships, whatever, as you continue to grow in Christ, if you are noticing some things changing, say this prayer like, God, disconnect me, untie me, loosen me from the grip of people who I do not need to be connected to going forth in my seasons, in my journeys, in my life. I don't want to be connected to those people. So God, step in and release me from those people. Be careful with that prayer, because God, if you pray about something regarding like your relationship with Christ or your purpose in general, like God will things will happen. Like if you really want to see God move quick, pray that prayer, okay? He cheated with his ex in the first 3 years. Seems to have changed. Should I stay? Now, the only thing with these types of questions is I do not want you to base your decision off of what I say. So with that, I'm not going to tell you to stay or to leave, but what I will say is be very careful. Look at the behaviors of people, but not even watching them. Do you have peace in this relationship? Are you trying to check the phone? Are you trying to sneak and see? Or do you trust him when he's not in your sight? Things like that. Would you trust if he was to run into his ex and he's out by himself getting gas and she just so happens to be getting gas? Like, do you trust him to be like, keep it at a, hey, how you doing? And going about your day? Like, I take that back. Like, don't even look at him. Like, how do you feel? If you have no peace, let that be the deciding factor. But again, I'm not going to tell you to stay or to leave, because my personal experience, I've been cheated on and I stayed, and it was not good. Not even so of that they didn't change or I was waiting on them to change. It was mainly because I had zero peace. Like my trust went out the window and I had the hardest time to even function in a relationship, because all I was thinking about was, are you with someone when you're not around, or if you're at work, are you texting? It was just not worth it. Okay, so someone asked, what are your favorite church sermons on YouTube? Honestly, I have a ton, but some of my favorite sermons that I know I could go back to and get fed are Michael Todd from Transformation Church. I love them. Pastor Matthew Stevenson of All Nations. I think he's in Chicago or something. Pastor Matthew Stevenson, he's really good. It's another guy that preaches really good sermons. I'll put his name up here because I don't want to take too much time trying to ask, where can I start my relationship with God? And honestly, the simplest answer I can give you is just start. God is waiting to communicate with us and establish a relationship. Like, let the relationship with Jesus, just let that be something that gradually grows. If you want to learn about him, obviously crack open that Bible and read about him. But when it comes to the personal relationship, I don't think there is no 1, 2, 3 type of step, because the relationship is going to be unique. It's going to be unique to your situation. It's going to be unique to your journey, your life, your circumstances, your everything. We are all different, and that's, I think, what makes it really sweet and really beautiful, is that we can have our own personal relationships with him. So like I said, to start, just start by reading. thinking about him, start by praying simple prayers like, good morning, God, how are you? Like just little things. And I feel like as time progresses, you will start to develop your own relationship. And honestly, for me, I'll give like my 2 little sentiments real quick. My relationship with God honestly kind of started off of someone else's, but hear me out. At the time, I had just learned about relationship with Christ. Like I had no idea about it prior to, had never heard about it in that way. It was always just go to church, pay your tithes, and go home. But I would see people actually use like anointing oil, and people would anoint their cars, and people would pray before they drive places, and they would anoint their head, or they would anoint a place that hurts on their body, like little things like that. So I was exposed to that type of stuff. So I thought that was really unique and really sweet how they, really communicated with God, and they did it on like an everyday basis. It wasn't just on a Sunday. It wasn't just on a Wednesday night Bible study. It was every day. So when I started to actually see that play out, I'm like, oh, like you're really in a relationship. Like you keep talking to God. Okay. So you just don't go to God when you want something, or you just don't, sing praises about God on Sunday. Like it's a consistent thing. It's a lifestyle. It's something you're doing every day. So again, just let it gradually happen. Even if you don't know what to pray, start with like a prayer journal. You can start with just expressing like, hey, dear God, today I feel like this. And I hear that you are a healer. So God, please show me that you can heal me, or that you can heal the situation. I mean, allow God to speak to the need of where you need him, because God will meet you exactly where you are. And I think that's the really important part to really grasp. Yeah, I feel like I'm saying a whole lot, but how can I carry myself as a woman of God? That's one of my biggest struggles with dating. Carrying yourself as a woman of God at the beginning of any encounter with the person that you are considering pursuing, let your boundaries first set the boundaries. First let that be known. It has to be established before you put it out, right? For me, even with dating, it's like I'm going to put out what I'm not doing and let that be the topic of conversation day one, because a lot of things are a make or break for people. Let's just talk about it. Sex, a lot of the times, people who practice abstinence and abstaining from sex and celibacy, people who do that, some people are with it and some people are not. Dabble in it a little bit, some people do not. That's your business. But I do feel like it is very important to communicate, because again, some people do not have that lifestyle. Some people have sex. That's how I feel you can carry yourself, is you are setting those boundaries. You are setting the standard, and you're letting that be known when you're dating, when you're communicating. Now that's not saying, okay, I serve Jesus and I'm not doing it. Like you don't have to come hard like that, like calm down. You can just say, hey, like these are my beliefs. This is where I am right now in my life. Once I actually started practicing celibacy, that was a topic of conversation that obviously would come up. Like, are you sexually active? Can we have sex? Like whatever. And it was something that needed to be talked about. And it was like, you know what? This is where I am. This is where I've come from. This is what I've dealt with before. And this is where I plan to continue to go. And I hope that you will respect that if you want to continue in relationship with me. Now, if people do not respect that, if people do not want to go with that, obviously they need to either hit the chuck a deuce and go on about their day, or they ride it out with you if they really care about you, if they actually want to dabble into it. Now, again, if someone says no, I don't think it's them not wanting you or you're not good enough. Some people are just not disciplined in that lifestyle. It's a hard lifestyle to live if you have done it before and then you try to go back and undo those things, or just simply not do it. It's a hard lifestyle to do. And I feel like that's a way that you can carry yourself as a woman of God. And abstaining from sex is not the only way that you carry yourself as a woman of God. I mean, it's plenty of things. I mean, it could be in the way you dress. It could be in the way you just communicate with people. I mean, it's a multitude of things. Also, someone asked, do I want another dog? And yes, I do. One day, not right now, because Avery is my baby and I will spoil her and continue to spoil her. I'll probably get a medium-sized dog. I highly doubt I get like another tiny dog. I think I'm gonna go for a bigger sized dog. And I know Big Husky. I mean, if you guys know my friend Sunny, her dog Cooper, like he's like a medium-sized dog. Ugh, his size is perfect. Like perfect. He's not too big to where he would just just trample all over me. And then he's big enough where he's not Avery's microscopic size. So I think he's a great size. Someone says, what are 3 things you tell an aspiring influencer? Have your why, like why you want to do it. Know that it is not as glamorous as it looks. There are very beautiful, glamorous sides of this job, and then there are some ugly sides to it, just like anything else in life, for real. Be consistent. Don't give up, even when you don't see the the results, don't give up. Now I got plenty of more where that came from, but since you said top 3, that's just what I got right now for you. So. Oh, this is a good question. Someone asked, what's my favorite thing about being natural? And honestly, it would have to just be, and hear me out when I say this word, because honestly, this might not be the right word, but the conveniency. Because I could literally hop in the shower and get my hair wet and know I can style it and it'd be fine. Because when I used to have, and I'll put a clip here just in case you're new and never have seen my hair like this, but I used to get relaxers a lot. I used to have color in my hair. So you know, my hair needed to be wrapped up tight if I was getting in the shower, okay? That steam would have my kitchen rumpling on up, okay? Like with me with short hair, I wanted it to be flat and no mess ups, okay? So with being natural, honestly, it's the convenience. Maybe, like I said, convenience might not be the right word. If you get what I mean, like just, but again, I can hop in the shower, get my hair wet, I'm chilling. Yeah, but that's one thing I love. And then if I have it's the versatility of the styles. I mean, you can do a wash and go, you can do a twist out, you can do a puff, you can do so many things. I love the versatility of being natural. Now, of course, there is versatility if your hair is, heat trained or treated or colored in that sense. Our hair period is just very versatile. But with being natural, there's just 1,000 ways you can style your hair. So going into that natural journey, I love the conveniency of it, of just, if it messes up, I can just start over and do it. It's not like I have to go to the salon and do all this extra. Like, I can just do my hair at the house. Like, because before, now not saying that it was a money saver, because it definitely was not, but if my hair messed up, I could just wash it and start over and do it again at the crib in the comfort of my home. I did not have to try to set an appointment. That I don't miss. Now, again, I have not been to the salon to actually get my hair outside of me getting it pressed, last year. But, the year before last. Was it last year? You know what? 2020 went by so fast. I'm thinking didn't I cut my hair in November 2020? It was definitely 2019. But yeah, I do not miss salon visits or anything, but not saying it was cheaper going natural, because it definitely was not. Someone asked, what helps you wake up and put God first? And it may sound cliche, but whatever. It was one of those things where it's like, God, I've been through enough, and now I know that this is, I don't want to do life without you, Lord. I don't want to do life without my Father. I want him here, and I know he's not going to leave me. So that's honestly what motivates me to keep him first. Is not to get things, not to have favor, not to do any of that. It's just simply, God, I just know I will not make it without you, because I've tried to make it without you. I've tried that lifestyle, and I've seen what it has done to me. I've seen the results of not having you in my life compared to the results of having you. And it goes as far as the mental thing. I think more so for me, it was a lot of mental, me trying to function in life and not have him. My mind was just out of whack. So I'll say now going forward, not saying I don't have my days, but just having him really grounds me. It really keeps me sane. And for that's just kind of what helps me continue to put him first, because I know, even with scripture, Matthew 6:33, with all those scriptures, at the end of the day, for me, it's just, I want him. I want him to know that he comes first. So, it's just one of those things, even with relationship, even with just life, periods, I want God to know, I want him to be first. I want him to be the forefront of my life. When people see me, they don't even see me, they see God. If I talk, they don't hear me, they hear God. Not saying I'm trying to be God, but you know what I mean? He lives inside of us, so I really want him to be able to just show up and show out and be all that he is, and use me as his vessel. How many kids would you want in the future? I personally don't know if I'll ever have kids, and I've never been pregnant before, just throwing that out there, and God forbid, I would love to still have the option, but I know infertility is a real thing. So outside of that, hopefully I can have kids, because I'm nowhere close to being married or anything like that. So obviously that may change once I'm married and I see where my husband is, or obviously it will be a conversation I would have prior to being married, but you know what I mean. But if I do have kids, my limit is honestly 2. And if I have twins, it's a wrap, okay? It is a wrap. Don't look at me, hubby, future hubby. Do not look at me. I'm not giving you no more. 2. And that's it, okay? But yeah, but it is definitely one of those conversations I still have with God, because I have my many reasons as to why I feel the way I feel about maybe possibly not having kids. And the percentage, in comparison, the percentage of me not wanting to have children is very high. But that's another topic for another day. And then again, I'm 23, young, by myself. I mean, it could be a very biased answer. It possibly, I've even had that said to me, like, oh, you know, wait until you're older, it'll change. But it's like, I don't know. But again, it's a conversation for another day. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? A great question. I see myself continuously, growing my brand. Obviously, I would love to see Faceovermatter become its own entity outside of a digital platform. I would love to see it actually like giving back to the community, really pouring into the ministry, something of that nature. And also, hopefully, even if I'm not married, maybe my little significant other might be somewhere. Definitely in a house, because if I have it my way, I keep saying it, Lord willing, if I have it my way, this will be the last apartment that I'm renting. I will then move into a house. You know what they say, when you make plans, God laughs. So I don't know. Wherever God has me in 5 years is what it'll be. Ooh, someone asked, what's my next major goal? My next major goal is hitting some financial goals, and that's still in the works. So with this financial goal, it kind of trickles down, because like if I hit this financial goal, then I'll be able to hit another goal, which will allow me to hit another goal. So it's kind of like one of those type of situations. So someone asked me, how do you deal with living alone, feelings of isolation, and not having Okay, so I'll just answer the first part because I actually cut it off from the screenshot. That's annoying. I don't know how helpful this statement will be, but honestly, I have always been an isolated person. And I talked a lot about this years ago when I had, talked a little bit about what it means to be set apart and not aside. And I'll link that old video down below, but I feel like that one will always have like some gems in there. Honestly, I've always been kind of like an isolated person. I've always been growing up, not really having a lot of friends, things like that. So I'm kind of used to it, I was honest. The crazy thing about it is I was having a conversation with a friend earlier, and we were talking about how, before I used to go to restaurants, and I would literally get dressed up and I would go out to eat. I would take myself out to eat. I would go get my favorite meal and just enjoy myself. I would go to a movie by myself. Like, those types of things I just really enjoyed. I really enjoy my own company, and I hope it doesn't sound vain whatsoever. I can just be myself with myself. I've just always loved being alone. Even when I lived with my dad and my sister and nephew at the time, when I tell you, when I would come home and no one would be at the house, I would be the happiest person in the world. Like, again, hear me out. Not saying I don't love my family, not saying I didn't want to see them. Of course I did, and I loved when they came home, but just having those moments of being to myself, love it. So when it came time for me to move out, I'm not gonna sit here and say, I just like being alone, I'm good. Like, no, I've had my moments where I'm like, dang, like I ain't got nobody to come over. I've had those moments. I'm human. But me personally, I like being to myself. I'm a very reserved person. I'm okay with it. It does not bother me at all. But any advice to someone who's not like that? I mean, you can have a bomb time by yourself. Like take the time to get your face out of your phone. Take time to really do something that you want to do. I actually seen a post on Instagram. I think my sister reposted it, but it was a girl who booked a flight, booked a hotel room, took herself out to eat, bought herself some stuff, put on a cute lingerie, took pictures. She just had a whole vibe with herself. And I just thought that was so cool and just, definitely part of self-care. You don't need anybody else to help you have a good time. You can have a good time by yourself. It's cool. You're not lonely. You're not alone. You got you. You're good. And of course, if anything else, God is there. If you welcome God into your life and into your home or your space, wherever you are, you're definitely never alone. So I see advice for first apartment. I see kind of saving money to get an apartment, moving out tips, things like that. So I'll kind of go over that a little bit. Advice for first apartment. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. I am in my second apartment. Woohoo! So I just recently moved out at the beginning of the year. I just recently moved out of my first apartment. It was a 1-bedroom loft with the exposed brick, baby girl. I'll post up a picture here. Very, very cute vibe. I actually went over there today so I could get these cords for my mic, and I almost had a whole full circle moment where I wanted to just cry because your first place will always be something sentimental, like I'm telling you. So anyway, first apartment, definitely have some extra moolah saved up just for the miscellaneous, just for moving costs. Moving is very expensive, okay? Moving, I mean, I had no idea how much money I was gonna have to dish out in the beginning of moving. Even moving into this place was, I mean, it was kind of annoyingly expensive. Like, it wasn't too bad, but yeah, have some extra moolah around for the miscellaneous. I mean, just have some extra cash if you can. Definitely create a budget because I feel like I mentioned this before, but the whole year or a little less than a year that I was at my apartment, when I tell you, when I discovered DoorDash, I went crazy. Like, I had spent almost $1,000 in DoorDash orders. Now you're probably thinking like, dang, how much food are you eating? Like, it's not even that. It's just when you're ordering DoorDash, I mean, they have the tax, delivery fee, and a tip on top of how much your food already costs. And you think about doing that maybe once a day, several times a week, and within a year, like, that adds up, okay? Like, your $7, almost $8 Chick-fil-A order can turn into a $20 order with DoorDash. Like, comment down below, like this video, all that, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, so it's a whole lot. So like you think about it, it adds up. So that was annoying. So definitely create a budget. Grocery shop, definitely, there is food at the house, okay? Heavy on the food is at the house. So I definitely see what, you know, parents mean when there's food at the house. When you wanted to slide by Mickey D's or something, like, food's at the house. I get it now, y'all. Make sure, like, you just don't want to move just anywhere, because what I did realize with moving, I never realized the security piece of moving out. You're a young woman, even guys, like, you're young, you're by yourself. There are crazy people out here in the world, so there's plenty of things that can happen. And what I really didn't realize with my first apartment, if you don't know, it was located in a downtown area, so it was very city vibes. I mean, you got people walking up and down the sidewalk. It was one of those situations where they could be walking up, and let's just say someone wanted to sneak into the building, they could easily say, oh, can you hold the door for me? I live here too. And sometimes you just really try to be trustworthy. You go, oh yeah, man, here you go, and you just open up the door. Like, anything can happen. So people would easily walk up to the buildings. Where I parked wasn't that far from the building, but even when I got home from work, sometimes when I was working at my 9 to 5, I mean, walking from the parking lot area where I parked, and I had to walk all the way to the front gated door, it was a good little distance. I mean, it wasn't too crazy, but I mean, depending on where I had to park, because we didn't have designated spots, we just had a designated area. I mean, I'm walking like from the parking lot, down some steps, down this walkway, then I'm at the door. And that's just half of it. You go into the gated area, then you gotta get to your apartment. So I mean, there's a lot of hallways, and you're still living on your own. So I'm saying all this to say, make sure you're moving somewhere where you're gonna feel secure. Now again, I know you can't help but so much of who you live beside, because you just don't know who you are living beside. I don't care where you live, the richest or the poorest, it don't even matter. Like, you don't know who you're living beside, okay? But again, I definitely would have second guessed, you know, the living area, because of the security. Now, because there was a gated door, that did help, you know, make me feel a bit more secure. That way I know not just anybody could walk up. Like, you literally had to come in contact with someone who was going in the apartment. What else? If you can, live on the very top floor, okay? Like, when I tell you, I cannot stand living under somebody. Even in this apartment, it's only 3 floors. And when I tell you, I wish I would have requested, hey, can I hop up on the 3rd? Because now I'm not sure if the 3rd floor is like more rooms. So I don't know. Like, because think about it, I think this apartment complex only goes up to 3 bedrooms. So I'm thinking literally it's like the first floor is 1 room, second floor is 2 bedrooms, and then the 3rd is like 3. I don't know if it's like that, but even here, I hate living under people. Like, the people who live above me, when I first moved in, they were like off the chain, the noise, okay? And I gave it the benefit of the doubt, because this was the newest building of all of them. So everyone that was moving in was literally moving in the first of the year, if not November of 2020. So everyone was very new moving in, and I'm like, okay, I get it. People rearranging stuff, people moving in furniture, I get it. So hopefully I'm not speaking too soon, but past several weeks they've been pretty quiet, so we okay. There's plenty of things. I mean, I'm actually creating notes now for like a full-blown apartment, like first apartment advice type of stuff. Like, so just be on the lookout for that. So that question, I mean, definitely just sparked up my remembrance to finish that and actually sit down and film that, because I had a couple more notes I wanted to add, and then I was gonna sit down and do this video. And there are some things I have learned. I mean, we can talk about deposits, credit checks, I mean, the whole 9. Like, I will give you the full spiel of what I had to do. So yeah. All right, last question says, what usually boosts your energy up on any given day? Worship. And again, I promise I'm not trying to make every answer spiritual, but that's just what it is. Like, that's what boosts my energy. That's what gets me. If I'm in a funk, I know what to do, okay? I know what to do. Like, literally, worship is my weapon against any tricks of the enemy, any tricks of my own mind. Like, that's my weapon, okay? Ain't nothing like, no, I'm going to worship, and usually worship does the trick, okay? Like, not saying it got rid of my issue at that moment or whatever, but I feel better, and I'm in a new headspace. Like, I feel like it gives me another level of energy that I didn't have prior to. So worship. I'm so glad you guys have been loving the vlogs and just supporting your girl like crazy. I am so happy. Any new subbies, welcome. I'm Jay. My name's Jalen, but you can call me Jay. That's just what a lot of people call me, and I'm cool with that. So yeah, so thank you guys for all of your questions. I hope I answered them thoroughly for you guys, especially if you did ask that question on my Instagram. I hope that answered it to the fullest that I could do. As always, if you're new, I'm Jay. If you're not new, thank you so much for supporting me with whatever I do here with my channel. I love each and every one of you to no end. And of course, until next time, God willing, I will definitely see you all in my next video. Mwah. Bye.